everyone. How are we doing today? Today, I wanted to talk about something super important because I noticed that last week I was super stressed and fatigued because of certain things that were happening in my life that were really not necessary. It was not necessary for me to be stressed out about those things. It was just like really small things, like showing up for a meeting and like sending an email and things like that. So it really got me thinking as to how much of our daily lives we spend stressing about small things that really don't matter and operating from our lower brains. So I want to talk today about the two parts of our brains that we always have access to, but a lot of us end up using just one part of it. Okay, so I'm talking about the lower brain, which is what keeps you in your 3D consciousness. It's what keeps you connected to this world, and the 5D brain, which is your prefrontal cortex, which is the part that's connected to the divine, that's connected to love and things. The part that's connected to the true essence of who we really are. Now, many years ago, when we were cavemen and women and when we were hunter gatherers, the lower part of our brain, the 3D or the limbic brain, it was super useful for us because it kept us safe. It told us to be on high alert at all times, so that in case there was a predator around, or in case there was like a heavy storm warning or whatever, it could like protect us and keep us safe. It was responsible for putting food on our table, it was responsible for putting a roof above our heads, and it really served its purpose at that time when we did not have the resources that we have in today's world. Today, we're sitting in plush offices, in really cozy homes, in nice neighborhoods, and we really don't need to be in survival all the time because there's no immediate threat to our lives. I mean, unless, of course, you actually take into account like the new threats, which is like the kind of food that we're eating and all of the other environmental stressors that we have today. But like, there is no immediate threat to our lives. However, we are constantly putting our bodies and minds through these small micro traumas and micro stresses throughout the day. So, let me tell you a little bit of what used to happen in earlier days when we operated from the limbic brain or the survival 3D brain. When there was a predator and you were running for your life, right, you ran for your life, or you used your intelligence to take actions to protect yourself from that environment or that predator. At the end of that entire activity, your brain and your body released so many endorphins that you actually felt really good about that thing. But now, what's happening is when you fuck up in an email, or when your boss yells at you, or when something is not going right in your life, the same, a similar stress response is created in the body as though like a predator is chasing you. But there is no endorphin release at the end of that, because then the next micro trauma comes, the next micro stress comes, the next problem comes. So your body is constantly in this survival fight or flight mode all the time, even though there is no immediate threat. Think about it. What really happens when you don't send an email on time, or when you don't really reply to a message on time? Nothing really happens. The world doesn't stop functioning, right? And yet we put ourselves through so much frustration and like put our bodies through like this entire fight or flight response every single minute, or like every few hours, and your body is constantly on that high alert state. So when this happens, the 5D consciousness, which is the higher part of you, the divine part of you, it just shuts itself down. It says, okay, like I'm not used right now and I'm not useful right now. This person needs to protect themselves, so let me not. So that's what keeps you in this complete rut of victim consciousness, in this complaint zone, in this constant feeling of having to be and fight the world's problems and all of that. Now let me flip the switch. Okay, there is this other part of our brains, which is the higher brain, which is the 5D conscious brain, which is the most yummy divine aspects of ourselves that each of us have access to at any given point in our lives. And this is the part of our brain that's used for manifestation, that's used for downloading information, that's used for love, that's used for acceptance, that's used for just really stepping into our unique essence and our unique purpose. And it trusts, right? It trusts in the universe, it trusts in the divine's ability to provide you what you want. And this part of our brain is always accessible to us, even when you're facing a threat, even when you're facing a perceived threat, I should say, right? So your 5D brain comes up with possibilities. Like when you face a situation, when something is going wrong in your life, it doesn't say, but what if? Oh no, that might happen. It doesn't keep you in your fear response. It basically opens up possibilities to you. It asks you, okay, so what is possible for us from here? What are the lessons we can learn from this? Right? And this part of your brain is always accessible to you. And every time you access it, it opens up a portal into a grander level of evolution for yourself. It helps you step into this different version of yourself, which is a more realized, which is a more conscious version of yourself. So you can choose whether you want to choose like the higher brain, which is looking for possibilities and lessons and opportunities, or the lower brain, which is keeping you stuck in the cycle. It's really not moving you forward. It's constantly keeping you in this complaining, criticizing, condemning, victimization zone, right? So they also, like, one of the things that really opened my eyes about this is 10,000 years ago, when, like, we did not have any of these survival needs, and people were operating mostly from their 5D consciousness and their higher consciousness. That was a time when when profound texts like the Vedas, the Upanishads, the epics like all Mahabharata and Ramayana, they were all channeled around the time when people were operating more from their 5D consciousnness. And even in today's world, if you look at people who are producing great pieces of art, books, movies, they're not operating from this survival brain. They're all tapping into something higher than themselves. They're tapping into a creative source that is their source of inspiration. And we all have access to that. We all have access to that divine channel, which, if we just allow ourselves, by shutting up our limbic brain, by telling ourselves that we do not need to be in fear, we don't need to be in survival. It's okay if your boss yells at you, you're not going to die, because ultimately at the bottom of all of those fears is death. Okay, my boss yells at me, I'll get fired today, then I won't be accepted in my society, and then I'll die. I did not send this email. I'm going to be yelled at tomorrow. It's going to cause me shame, and then it's causing me rejection, and then my tribe will not accept me, and then I'm going to die. So everything boils down to fear of death. So if you just tell your brain that it's not going to die if it doesn't send any of this stuff, and just tell it to chill out a little bit, and then focus your time and energy in developing this higher brain, in like listening to its whispers, because the higher brain literally whispers to you. It sends you intuition, it sends you gut responses, it sends you inner knowing. But the only way you can access it is if you can kind of like lower the volume, like just like take that volume switch and lower it on this limbic or the survival brain, right? And majority of us are operating in our survival brains. It's going to take some time to get to the higher consciousness, but you can have access to small glimpses of it every now and then in your life. So every day, see how, if you can spend some time in just connecting with that aspect of you, connecting with that possibility of you, which can help you expand and step into your next level of evolution. So that's what I wanted to tell you today. The difference between the lower brain versus the higher brain. We're all operating from our lower brain right now. There are very few people are accessing the higher brain. And even if we are, we're not really optimizing it or using it to its full capacity. And it's all accessible to us, it's all available to us. And it's all just a decision away to just choose between higher or lower. Anytime you face a threat or a perceived threat, anytime something goes wrong in your life, just pause for a second, see like what your responses are. If you're going down this, oh no, why did this happen to me, this is so stressful, I don't want to do this, oh god, pause and just say, okay, what is accessible to me? What if I can just accept that this is for the best, and let me see where I can go from here, and let me just trust that I have the support of the universe, support of the divine, and let me see if I can just let go. And this is something I do before every major call, every major conversation I need to have. 5 minutes before the call or 10 minutes before the call, I just, like, my heart will literally be pounding, but I'll be like, okay, let's just focus for a minute here and let's just close our eyes. And then I'll just put on a guided meditation or a guided visualization. And then I'll just like really tune into that space of just letting my body fill with love and light. And it really, really changes the outcome of that interaction that I'm having. I promise you, if you trust it, I mean, if you follow this and you trust this, it's really, really going to make a huge difference in your life. So if you have a meeting that you're stressed out about, if you have a conversation with a friend that you're dreading having, or if you're having any sort of situation where you're feeling frustrated and stressed out, just close your eyes and just try and access that part of you that's already available to you. Just try and access that part that is loving and just say that, okay, I allow divine love to flow into my body now and flood my cells with nothing but pure vibration of love, right? And see how it feels. Try it out before every single interaction, and you'll see the outcomes just completely. It'll just blow your mind. Honestly, just trust me on this and try it out, okay? And let me know like how it worked for you in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.